And tonight, a local group protested in downtown Asheville.
News 13's Hannah McKenzie was there and has more on their message.
Quite a large turnout here at Pritchard Park. I'd say just over 100 people showing up to voice their disapproval.
The assault on abortion rights.
Calling the Supreme Court's potential repeal of Roe versus Wade a war on women. Protesters gathered in downtown Asheville's Pritchard Park Tuesday.
Stand up, fight back!
The demonstration organized by the Party for Socialism and Liberation Asheville. Organizer Claire Clark telling us reversing decisions like this could set a dangerous precedent.
This is a system. It's a tiny part of a much larger system of exploitation and oppression, and none of us will have our rights protected in any certain way. Everything that we win can be rolled back, as we're seeing right now.
Several dozen people opting to share personal stories.
I lost one of my dearest friends. She had a back alley abortion and she hemorrhaged to death. I'm terrified of what's going to happen to all the women who can't get legal abortions. Terrified.
Julie Mayfield also getting on the mic.
Abortion is still legal in this country today.
We caught up with a state senator after she spoke. What implications do you believe could result from overturning Roe v. Wade?
Well, I think we know several of them. So there are about 26 states that will pretty quickly go to full bans once that decision is issued.
If Roe v. Wade is overturned, the decision will rest with each state. Mayfield says abortion will remain legal in North Carolina at least until the November elections.
There's a very thin line that separates North Carolina from states like Mississippi that have enacted abortion bans, and that's because we have a Democratic governor, pro-choice governor, and we have the ability to sustain his veto in this, particularly in the Senate, the North Carolina Senate, but only by 2 votes.
Protesters spoke out here for just over an hour. APD officers were on scene and things remained peaceful.
Reaction is pouring in as abortion protections face their biggest challenge yet. News 13's Anjali Patel shows us how organizations and lawmakers on both sides of the issue are feeling as this unfolds.
Officials with Planned Parenthood are urgently reminding women that as of right now, abortion is still legal in North Carolina, though it's unclear how long that'll be the case.
News that Roe v. Wade could be overturned has the head of Mountain Area Pregnancy Services cautiously optimistic. By philosophy, they don't offer or refer abortions.
Well, everyone who works here is life affirming and believes that life should be chosen at the end of the day. We never want to see a baby's life ended before it even has a chance to begin.
Meanwhile, Planned Parenthood says they saw this coming, though that doesn't soften the blow.
All signs pointed to the Supreme Court taking away a person's right to have an abortion. But I will say, seeing it on paper is still very overwhelming.
And they've been preparing for more women from neighboring states to come to North Carolina for abortions as a result. That's because overturning Roe v. Wade would essentially put the issue in the hands of each state, many poised to enact strict bans once given the green light. Some lawmakers looking to make North Carolina one of those states.
I've been in communication with my Senate colleagues today. We're extremely hopeful, and I would expect that we will have legislation put together very soon.
It's something North Carolina legislators have tried before, only to be met by Governor Roy Cooper's veto. But State Senator Julie Mayfield is sounding the alarm that Democrats' ability to uphold that veto is hanging by a thread.
This is why elections matter, and what we need to be doing up and down the ballot in every election, in every state across the country, is voting for candidates who will uphold reproductive freedom.
Now, we do want to emphasize that the final opinion has not yet been released and that votes and language can still change.
Speaking the truth is dangerous in Asheville City Schools, but I won't be silent.
Pushback about pay in Asheville City Schools. As the school system works through financial struggles, employees are not happy about proposed changes to their pay.
News 13's Andrew James tells us about those employees' concerns and a response from the superintendent.
The proposed pay changes would impact classified non-exempt staff, many of who showed up to the school board meeting Monday night to voice their concerns. The battle over pay procedures taking center stage at the Asheville City Schools Board of Education meeting Monday night.
This is the time to share your concerns about these proposals.
The proposal would change classified non-exempt staff like custodians, teacher assistants, and bus drivers from salary to hourly. This was presented to the board as an area for potential savings last month, as school leaders say in some cases the required minimum hours for these employees is 37.5, but they're being paid for 40 hours.
I have fought for over 10 years to get a raise because I was one of the lowest paid in the district. And then you want to give me a raise and then you want to take it back.
The 2.5-hour reduction equates to our lunch break. Many of us work through or at least through some part of our duty-free lunch break.
Employees who would feel the direct impacts of these proposed changes did not hold back.
The truth is that it is time that this district stops trying to resolve part of its extensive money issues by taking away pay from the lowest paid employees.
While the proposed change was originally presented as an area for potential savings, Superintendent Dr. Gene Freeman told employees Monday night that is not the case. He was not available for an interview Tuesday, but sent News 13 a statement that reads in part, "It's about cleaning up our books to ensure people are paid for their actual hours worked. It's a problem when some staff work 40 hours and are paid for 40 hours, while others work 30 and are paid for 40. Leaving many employees questioning the reason behind the possible changes.
I thought the whole reason we were looking at this was because it was a cost-saving measure. So now I'm really confused. And I'd love to hear clarification as to how our pay is not going to be cut.
Now, as of now, a final decision has not been made, and it is important to note that these changes would impact some of the school system's lowest paid staff members.